I start now? Yeah, so my name's Brad Oldham. I'm with Evolution Mods. My business partner, Dave Street, is sitting right here as well. A few years ago, we got the crazy idea to develop the Alien Apron and Lighting mod. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with it, but this mod is an apron. It has 8 inputs that allows you to have some really cool effects in the apron. There's flashing effects, there's fire effects. It's got 2 side blades on it. It really adds to the game, especially in multi-ball mode when you get the strobing. So this mod that we worked on was a whole lot of work. We, especially the electronics, it took a lot of coding, a lot of hardware development. It took us about a year to get everything just right. Some of the challenges we ran into was the time and cost for the software development, the multiple hardware revisions. That took time. Every pinball machine's different, so we had to get an alien machine and actually test it on an actual machine, and then providing the customer an easy way to customize certain aspects. Like, some people didn't want the flashing to be too fast. Some people wanted it slower. Some people wanted different colors. Dave here likes a green alien logo. I like a blue alien logo. So we've been arguing about that for years now. So for our next project, we didn't want to have to go through all that again, which is why we developed the Pinnunciator. So the Pinnunciator is an LED controller that uses very similar hardware to the Alien Apron, except that you can configure every aspect of everything we did with the Alien Apron, you can do with the Pinnunciator, but without any custom coding at all. We have support for LED strips, servo motors. There's 9 input triggers. It could be switches, lamps, or coils. Pretty much anything you could think of that's you can get to in the game. We have 6 LED output channels that can also be connected to servo motors if you want. And there are 3 digital outputs which you could hook up knocker coils or even shaker motors to. So there's a lot that you can do with this thing. It just takes your imagination. So the hardware is very small. This is the hardware. It's just a little board here with 3 RJ45 ports on it. And then there's 6 JST connectors for LED strips. So you can have up to 6 LED channels on the board. And then you connect I/O boards to that with RJ45, and this is where you plug in your inputs. So you can run these I/O boards to different places in your machine, like near the coils that you want, and plug in your coils. And there's also a digital output on each board, so you could plug in something like a shaker motor or some other high current device. Each I/O board also has a LED output. So the cool thing is you could route the board out to someplace in your machine and then plug an LED strip to that port, and then you just have one RJ45 cable going instead of a whole bunch of wires and big wiring mess. So that's one thing that really makes the Pinnunciator nice, is wire management. It makes your machine look still professional and well managed. So we just came out with a new I/O board. This is the electrical signal I/O board, and this is the one that allows you to connect to coils or switches or lamps or pretty much anything you can think of. There's a resistor pack right here. I think you can see that. And the resistor pack can be swapped out to allow you to support switches or lower voltage devices. As it is here, this is configured to support coils. So any coil that's over 33 volts, this resistor pack will fire. So all you need to do is connect both sides of the coil to one of these inputs, and then you've got your trigger. Then you can go into the software and configure it. A complete fully loaded Pinnunciator would include the main board and 3 I/O boards. And you can mix and match I/O boards. You can have one for coils, you can have one for switches, and one for photoresistors or light sensors, which is pretty cool. This is an example of what the software looks like. We have, you configure your inputs and outputs. We support, you can set the polarity of the inputs in case the input works in reverse. For switch matrices, I found that the polarity is reversed. So if you connect to a machine like a Williams that has a switch matrix, you need to just check that box, and then the polarity will be correct. And then we support WS2811 and WS2815 LED strips. We sell those on our site, but you can buy them yourself and wire them up yourself if you want. But these are 12-volt strips, and we selected 12 volts because of less voltage drop throughout your machine. So you configure your inputs and outputs. You configure your patterns for your strips, and then you apply your patterns to your strips using rules. So in the software, you configure the what causes the rule to turn on, what causes the rule to turn off, and then you say what the output is going to be, which channel you want to output to. You say what effect type. I'm selecting pulsing in this example, but there's strobing, there's scrolling, there's all kinds of things, all kinds of effect types you can play with. And then you select which pattern you want to apply to that LED strip. And that's all there is to it. Then you click OK, and then you can click Program, and then you can immediately see what the effect is of your device in your machine. This will connect, by the way, this will connect via USB, or you can also connect via Bluetooth. And so the main, I would say that the main advantage of this system is that you can do so much with no programming required. And a lot of people, you know, they make mods and they have these great ideas for ways to integrate them into their machine with all kinds of you know, different patterns and triggers, but you know, doing the coding is pretty daunting. I mean, it was for me when I started the Alien Apron project. It was like, I got a lot of work to do, and I want to allow the customer to modify this thing. How am I going to do that? Well, not only does the Pinnunciator let you do your project quickly, but it allows your customers to modify what you've done and do their own thing and you know, customize it even further. So there's just a lot of power that you have here. So I wanted to show you a video of how to connect a Stern shaker motor to the Pinnunciator, and it just kind of shows something that I did, a project I did a couple months ago. There we go.
In a previous video, I added interactive side blades to my funhouse machine using the Pinnunciator. Since then, I had a couple ideas I wanted to try. When the ball hits the left slingshot, I'd like the left blade to flash yellow. When the ball hits the right slingshot, I'd like the right blade to flash yellow. I'd also like a shaker motor to trigger whenever you hit Rudy in the face when the white flasher goes off. Let's see how easy it is to add these additional effects using the existing Pinnunciator I already have installed in this machine. We are currently using port 1 to monitor the 3 inputs using light sensors on an I/O board. My plan is to add a cheaper common ground I/O board for the shaker motor and plug it into port 2. I will use a signal I/O board for 70-volt coils and plug that into port 3 to monitor the left and right slingshots. First, we need to connect wires to the coils that we need to use as inputs. Soldering the wires is ideal, but you can use alligator clips if you don't want to make it permanent. Positive goes to positive, negative goes to negative. Connect the other end of the wires to the 2mm JST connectors, or you can use the screw terminals. I'm plugging the slingshot coils into inputs 7 and 9. Now connect the I/O board to port 3 on the Pinnunciator with an RG45 cable. Zip tie the I/O board to nearby wiring, ensuring that the back of the board can never come in contact with any other metal. Now for the shaker motor. Each I/O board has one high current digital output. I bought this 12-volt OEM Stern shaker motor on eBay. Connect the power supply for your shaker motor to the digital power in terminals. Although this shaker motor is 12 volt, you can connect any DC voltage to switch any device on or off, like a knocker or a flashing beacon. Connect the shaker motor to the digital power out terminals. Once again, these can be JST connectors or screw terminals. Now we're ready to configure the Pinnunciator. This is the fun part. So I've already configured the Pinnunciator for the shaker motor and the new flashing effects. In the interest of time, I'm just going to show you the changes that I made. The first change was to change the total I/O boards connected to 3. That gave me 3 additional inputs. I renamed input 7 to left blade and input 9 to right blade. I also renamed digital output 2 to shaker motor, so I know that that is the shaker motor. I also added a new pattern called slingshot patterns. In the pattern, for pattern type, I selected single color for all segments because we want every segment in that LED strip to be the same color, and I selected yellow for that. Then I created 3 new rules. The first 2 rules are the left blade and right blade. The left blade is configured so that the on trigger will immediately start the effect. If you look in the on trigger configuration, I have left blade selected. The off trigger is when the timer expires. So all we care about is that a half second passes and then shut off the effect. For the output channel, I selected the left blade output channel. That's where we want it to flash. And the effect type is strobe, which is the flashing effect. And I can change the effect speed, how quickly it flashes. The pattern for the effect is, of course, the new slingshot pattern that I created. Now for the right blade, all I had to do was make a copy of the left blade and change the input to right blade and the output to right blade. Everything else is the same. For the shaker motor, it's very simple. We use the exact same type of trigger immediately when the Rudy hit white flasher goes off. How long do we want to trigger it? Well, the off trigger is set to half a second, so that shaker motor is going to fire for half a second and then turn off. The output channel is the shaker motor that I set under output channels earlier. And then the effect type, you can strobe the digital output, but for a shaker motor, we just want to keep it on solid. I also set, under more options, I set the rule priority to be the highest priority because I want the flashing to take priority over everything else. Once the flashing effect stops, then the lower priority rule that was running will continue running. I also have the block rule from activating for 5 seconds set for the shaker motor because I don't want the shaker motor to be running like over and over and over again. I want at least 5 seconds to pass before the shaker motor triggers again. You can do that for lighting effects as well. And that pretty much takes care of it. Now, I just need to take this out to the pinball machine and test it out and maybe tweak a few configurations and see what I like the best, and we're done. Pretty easy.
So here's where I'm testing for the first time. I'm testing those slingshots, and it works perfectly. It's really a cool effect. I love the flashing left and right blades when the slingshot is hit. I don't know, it's really cool. Let me see how we're looking on time. Oh, we got plenty of time. I have one more video, but before I do that, I just want to open up to any questions, if anyone has any questions to so far. Any questions?
And if you have any questions, there's a microphone up there that you can go ask them at.
In that case, I'm going to play the next video, and it might stimulate some additional questions for you guys. Okay, this is this kind of gives a Pinnunciator overview of when I first installed those Funhouse side blades.
We've been so busy developing the Pinnunciator that we haven't had time to enjoy it. Finally, we decided to install some side blades in our Funhouse machine. Keep watching and you'll see what happens when Rudy falls asleep.
Oh no. I'm so sleepy.
I love that effect, having that red in the whole playfield.
For this project, we used 3 inputs using photoresistor cables connected to one photoresistor I/O board. We are using only 2 LED channels, one for each side blade. In the future, we could add another 6 inputs and 4 additional LED strips to this machine. If we ever needed more than that, there's nothing preventing us from using 2 Pinnunciators, giving us 18 inputs and 12 LED channels maximum. We attached the photoresistors with zip ties and positioned them where it made sense. We're using the midnight arrow, the flasher in front of Rudy's mouth, and the blue flasher on the right of the playfield as our 3 inputs. Now that we have completed this project with the Pinnunciator, we realized that there were a few things that we didn't expect. First, installing the side blades was way easier than we thought it would be. We just connected them with Velcro, and they can easily be taken off to lift up the playfield. They can also be mounted with the LEDs pointing downward for games where seeing the LEDs is undesirable. Second, installing the Pinnunciator was easy too. For now, we just plugged it into the operator's service outlet. We will install a dedicated 12-volt power supply later. Third, after getting the Pinnunciator installed in our game, we were surprised at the level of excitement that we felt while we were configuring the light shows for it. It was extremely rewarding to see our light shows materialize. Fourth, even though we developed the Pinnunciator, we were absolutely shocked at how easy and fast it was to configure our light shows exactly how we wanted them. We spent less than half an hour configuring everything you see, and a few minutes over the next few days while we were playing the game and tweaking where we found it was needed. And finally, once the project was complete, we were amazed at the end result. as if Williams was reincarnated and developed integrated side blades for their 33-year-old machine. We feel like we have a brand new and different pinball machine here now. One of the greatest features of the Pinnunciator is that everything you see is configurable. Even if you don't like something you see with what we've done, you can change colors, patterns, behaviors, and timing with the intuitive Light Show Studio user interface.
So one thing I can't stress enough is how powerful the priority system in the Pinnunciator is. You can specify when the device powers on, you can have certain patterns running on your LED strips, and then you can set rules that have higher priorities that override the original priorities and will flash an LED strip. Then once that rule is completed, it'll go back to the previous rule. And I use that feature extensively for this Funhouse project. In the software, there are configurations, some sample configurations you can look at and see how things are set up. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It might be a little learning curve, but I think anybody can understand it and pick up on it. And Dave and I are happy to provide support to anybody, explain to how you do certain things if anyone has any questions. But we sell all this stuff on our website. Some of the stuff can be like LED strips can be purchased in rolls, and you can solder wires to it. But for people who want plug-and-play solutions, we have that stuff on our website as well. We have a Texas Pinball Festival special right now on our site, 20% off your entire order. It's, I believe the code is TPF2025. So really appreciate you guys being here, and I hope that anyone who's interested would stop by our booth, and I'd be happy to give you a more in-depth demo. And we actually have a test harness at our booth where you can see all the features of the Pinnunciator in action. And the videos that I just showed you are on our website. So yeah, I just hope you guys will be able to find some way to use this in your mods. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is, if you're a mod maker, if you have an idea for a mod that you think would be awesome and you want to integrate it with a machine and you do it with the Pinnunciator, then Dave and I are willing to work with you on pricing to make it cost effective, so you could include the Pinnunciator hardware, in mass in your mod for mods that you sell. So I just want to mention that this is a product made for mod makers, and that's probably why I like it so much. And I've been using it in my own games because I feel like I'm a modder, and I just get that great feeling when I add a mod, and then I look at it and it's like, wow, this is like way better than it was before. So. I appreciate everyone being here. Can I open up for any questions? Yes, sir. I think there's a mic that you need to use.
Hi, sorry I showed up real late, so I'm sorry if you already answered this, but looking just at your little sign, you have shaker motor. Is it possible to setting off an LED flasher is one thing, but can you have like a standard low power rubble, and then have a trigger to increase intensity?
These are digital outputs,
okay,
so you can turn it on or off. Now, it does support strobing, so I haven't tested it, but maybe if you made it strobe, maybe that would give you a lesser intensity shake. I'm not sure on that, but it does support PWM. So if you have a device that's PWM, that's more of a analog type of communication that
Thank you.
you could use. Any other questions? Well, I appreciate everyone coming out, and hope to see you guys at our booth. Thank you.